Hi everybody, Andy Nichols, the Backwoods Traveler, coming to you here at the end of July of 2026 with another outside summer video, remote location. The purpose of this video today is a topic that kind of came up on our Discord. If you had to kind of put 5 albums to sum up Paul McCartney as a solo artist from the beginning to now, what would those 5 be? I don't know why 5, could have been 6, could have been 7. I just felt 5 was a nice odd number to pick. Makes it a little more difficult and challenging. It makes you think a little bit. So that's what I'm going to do today. And I want you to guys tell me what your 5 are. My 5 most significant solo albums in Paul's career from 1970 to 2026 is as follows. Number 1, McCartney, 1970. Following the biggest crisis of his life, the band that he loves is over, and he locks himself away, writes all that stuff up in Scotland, then comes down to London to record it all. A lot of it at Cavendish, a lot of it at EMI, under a pseudonym of Billy Martin. And against the angst of Klein and everything else, and fighting with the Beatles to get his album out versus Let It Be. I mean, your first solo album outside of the biggest band in the world had to be such a challenging thing. And I think that's why it's so misunderstood. Not so much anymore, but back then, a lot of people were like, Paul McCartney of the Beatles, of Abbey Road, of Golden Slumbers, of Yesterday, of Fool on the Hill, of Hey Jude, has released this little kind of homespun affair. And I think people just didn't understand it, but it's what he had to do at the time to get through it. McCartney is so simple and so basic, but it's not. You've got some really inventive chords on there with Man We Was Lonely, and some great jamming on Ooh You, Teddy Boy, beautiful ballad like Junk, and then sing-along Junk, and Maybe I'm Amazed, of course, goes without saying, even though I do prefer the live version, but there is something that is so boldly proud when you listen to Maybe I'm Amazed, saying, you know what, I'm going through some shit right now, but you're getting me through it. And you can understand why when people ask him what's one of his favorite songs he's ever written, it's easily going to be Maybe I'm Amazed about Linda. And the fact that it's on his first solo album is pretty special. And the fact that I was talking to Kyle about this the other day, there is no single release from McCartney, as we know, because when we saw the kids do Ram in Brooklyn last week, the first encore they did was Another Day, and which we know was Paul's first single. But, wouldn't it make sense to have a single from your first album? No, Paul didn't do that. He just dropped the album and said, look, here's my album. No single from it at all. Even though the obvious single is Maybe I'm Amazed, he didn't drop it. He just said, look, this is my album. I'm dropping. Yeah, you're gonna hear the door creak open at the start of Lovely Linda. You're gonna hear this lo-fi sound throughout all of it with Valentine Day and Ooh You and Mama Miss America, and yes, Queen of Crory, which I can't stand. Tom, peace and love. I know you love it, but just a really brave moment to make that album his first, when he could have just made a real snappy pappy Paul McCartney Beatles type sounding record, and he didn't do that. He was just like, my head is fried, my band is over, what am I doing? I'm just going to go back to basics. And that's the joy of the McCartney album, and that is why it has to be the first one. Number 2, again, we're going most significant in a 56-year solo career, is Band on the Run. And now listen, we love all the other albums individually for whatever reason. And some of you might quibble and say, Ram's got to be on there. And if Ram's got to be on there, you put it on there. And I wanted to, but I can't. Because if you're following the trajectory of Paul's career, McCartney's the first one, then Ram. Crazy, awesome, really appreciated now. I mean, I just saw a band of 10 kids do it in Brooklyn, New York, all under the age of 30, perform it and kill it, and did a great job. So Ram has now come full circle. Thanks a lot, John Landau. But it's not Ram. It's not Wildlife. It's not Red Rose Speedway. It's Band on the Run. Band on the Run is number 2, because that was the moment that he was back. Band on the Run, the song, needs no introduction at all. It's iconic. We all love it. The same with Jet. The same with Let Me Roll It. And I'll give some love from Amunia. And I'm going with the 9-track version of Band on the Run, not the 10-track, because that's the one that Paul made. Bluebird, No Words, beautiful Picasso's Last Words, and the big finish with 1985. That musical statement to say, you know what, I'm confident, I've overcome the bullshit. Here's an album that's going to be really kind of tough to beat. So, Band on the Run is number 2. Number 3, I'm going with Tug of War from 1982 because it's after Wings and it's after John, and the world was waiting to see. It's a bit like why I chose it for my top album openers video. Very same reason. The world was waiting to hear what Paul McCartney was going to say after John Lennon died. And that album, serious in nature, in tone, and somber, but still awesome. Still a great pop record. Even with What's That You're Doing, which I think kind of runs a little bit long, if I'm being honest. And I don't think Ebony and Ivory brings it down. A lot of people think that those 2 tracks weigh it down, or Dress Me Up as a Robber. Somebody told me once they think that song brings that album down. I think that's crazy. But Tug of War, Somebody Who Cares, Ballroom Dancing, The Pound is Sinking. I'm going armchair psychiatrist here, but listen to The Pound is Sinking. Listen to that part where Paul goes, "No, it didn't happen." What's he singing about? I mean, you could really imagine him channeling his grief in that moment when you listen to that song. Is he singing, is he singing about John and about what happened? Again, all hypothetical, but it's emotional, it's powerful, and it's classically produced by George Martin, the beginning of the trio of working with him again, and that album will be largely remembered, I think, as time goes on for what Paul had to say at that time in 1982. And he wasn't even 40 when the album came out. Amazing. Number 4, fast forward about 15 years, you guessed it, Flaming Pie, 1997. Paul at peace with the Beatles, the anthology, you know the whole narrative. Linda was coming to the end of her life, so you wonder where some of that music sits for him now. Calico Skies, which he's played live. But when he does play it live, he plays it a little more fast, and Abe has the whole accordion thing. But any of that footage from Flaming Pie and the documentary, Beautiful Night, Calico Skies, song we were singing, Young Boy, Flaming Pie, the title track. Souvenir, I think, is an even overlooked gem. A lot of people like to crap on that one, and of course, Little Willow. 56 years old, Paul McCartney releases Flaming Pie, and you're like, damn, this guy still got it. So that's my 4th one. And number 5 is The Boys of Dungeon Lane from 2026. I think you all know how I feel about it. I do believe it is likely his last studio album. And if it is, he has gone out on top with one of the best albums of his career. That is modern, that has pop in it with Home to Us and Come Inside. Please put Come Inside into the set list, Paul. Take out Come On To Me and put Come Inside. Nostalgia, tender ballads, Mama Gets By to end the album. As You Lie There to open it. Home to Us, a song with a Beatle on it. Pure pop of Ripples in a Pond. Never Know, with the kind of psychedelic Beatles sound in it. It is a magical record, and I think that would be the 5th album that would be in my list to sum up Paul McCartney's 5 most important musical statements as a solo artist to the present day, from 1970 to right now. McCartney, Band on the Run, Tug of War, Flaming Pie, and The Boys of Dungeon Lane. That's it. That's absolutely it. Let me know below what your 5 are. You know what? I'll even give you a little bit of a out. You can add an honorable mention. The honorable mention that I will add today would be Ram. Before I sign off, I just wanted to dedicate this episode, my channel, to my late cousin's wife, Rachel Meskel, who we lost due to cancer at the age of 49. Rachel, you were a wonderful person who looked after us for a long, long time when we were kids, a wonderful teacher, a wonderful wife, and a great mom. You'll be missed, Rachel. God bless. So that's going to do it for me today. Gang, I hope you enjoy your weekend. Two Legs has a 10-hour 10th anniversary live stream next Saturday, the 8th of August. Join me and Tom and a slew of guests from 12 p.m. Eastern all the way up until 10 p.m. Eastern as we celebrate 10 years of Two Legs on August 8th. That's going to be pretty special. I hope you can make it. That's going to be a great show to celebrate a show that's pretty important to me and how I kind of got my start. So I'm looking forward to doing that with Tom and some of you. Also, check out, too, over on Hands Across the Water, breaking down what we think the Press to Play archive box set will look like. So it's over on Hands, and we might kind of share it again later, because Press to Play is 40 years old in August, so we might share it again. And, of course, Tom and I will be doing something on Press to Play with Luca Perazzi as well. And I recorded a 2-hour audio documentary with a lot of archive stuff from Luca that he has shared with me, images, sound clips from his interviews with Hugh Padgham and Jerry Marotta. We're going to kind of build a YouTube audio visual documentary on Press to Play, and that's going to be right here on my channel also in August. So no shortage of McCartney material coming across any of these channels anytime soon. So let me know what your 5 are and your honorable mention, and I will see you next time. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy the music, and God bless. See ya. Bye.